We begin Holy Week today, or technically last night, I guess, but we're in Holy Week now. And there's a lot to Holy Week, and it's not all about suffering, But for me, and in the liturgy too, Christ's suffering and his passion kind of are the theme that goes through this week. We'll read the Passion twice. We'll hear the Passion twice this week. Matthew's today and John's on Friday. And the readings in different ways will talk about Jesus' suffering. And I want to read the collect to you for today's Mass. Almighty, ever-living God, who, as an example of humility for the human race to follow, caused our Savior to take flesh and submit to the cross, graciously grant that we may heed his lesson of patient suffering, and so merit a share in his resurrection. And this idea of Jesus' humility, I just want to pause for a minute. We hear in the second reading, of course, that beautiful hymn from Philippians, that though he's in the form of God, Jesus did not deem equality with God something to be grasped, rather emptied himself. He was born of human beings. He was obedient to two human beings. He was ridiculed and suffered and beaten by human beings, people who would disappear if he stopped loving them. And even the cross, I thought about this today, a little detail I never thought of. Jesus was a carpenter. He knew how to shape wood. He understood wood. He knew how to manipulate wood. And here he was now, and he was dominated by wood. The wood of the cross took his life, And so a lot of times for us, the problem with suffering is that it limits us, Jesus, when we say he was humbled, it means he was limited. And whether it's that somebody gets in our way, we can't do what we want to do, or there's a rule or a law stopping us, or it might even be older age. I think about now, sometimes I think about what I used to be able to do physically. I can't do it anymore. I can't work all day, just nonstop. I can't run 10 miles, Little by little, we get more and more limited in our bodies, And we experience that as suffering. And what we learn from Jesus is in the midst of humility, patient suffering. And I looked at this dictionary for a minute for the definition of patience: the quality of suffering without complaint, meekness, endurance, and perseverance, the power to wait calmly. We're definitely all suffering right now in many ways. There's the normal sufferings of everyday life, but this coronavirus thing has brought new suffering to us, new limitations on our lives, new frustrations, new worries and fears, And if there's any good week at all to suffer, it's certainly this week, where we can look at Jesus' suffering and follow his example. St. Gregory of Nazianzen puts it this way: we must sacrifice ourselves to God each day and in everything we do, accepting all that happens to us for the sake of the Word, imitating his passion by our sufferings, and honoring his blood by shedding our own. Everything we do, accepting what happens to us with patience, understanding that what comes to us, either God is actively willing or he's allowing, And we certainly can pray with Jesus, Lord, let this cup pass from me. Let this whole coronavirus and everything attendant on it pass away. Let it disappear so we can get back to our regular lives, And that's fine to pray that. But we always end our prayer with, but not my will, but yours. Not our will, but yours, God. And so this week, I hope you keep the crucifix prominent in your sight, in your mind. As you can see, I have my camera turned. It's over, well, I guess it looks like my left shoulder to you. And I keep the crucifix there, And we have to continue to imitate Jesus in his patient suffering, accepting the humiliations, the limitations that come to us, the sufferings that come to us. And if we do that, we have this hope, a real hope and expectation that if we imitate Jesus in his patient suffering, we may merit a share in his resurrection. I'll be praying with you this week, walking with you. I keep your sufferings in my mind. I pray for you all every day, more than once a day. And let's walk with Jesus this week in his sufferings. Let's keep our eyes fixed on him and learn how to suffer in hope, how to suffer in patience, and how to suffer in obedience to the will of God, how to accept God's will with love. God bless you.